80 lakh. You are one hospital bill away from becoming bankrupt and losing all your wealth. Will try to sell you mixed plans because they get good commission selling them. You should completely avoid policies. Majority of men in India are taking these massive 30-year home loans the moment they get their first job. This is an unwritten law in Indian society. But why? Why tie yourself with rope at the very start of your financial journey? This is because of the Indian marriage market. You see, when a girl's family looks for a groom in India, the ultimate top checklist item is, does the groom own a house? But the absolute madness of our society is almost nobody asks how much loan is on that house. It's not considered a big deal if they have a loan, but there must be a house. We push this danger under the rug by saying, job hai, kar lega. Think how objectively terrifying that mindset is. Imagine two people, A and B, both 25 years old. Person A owns a 1 crore apartment, completely debt-free. Person B, on the other hand, lives in the exact same building, but this apartment is 80% mortgaged to a bank. He has 80 lakh debt hanging over his head for the next 30 years. Given this situation, in the eyes of traditional Indian parents, these two men look exactly the same. Society treats them as equals because the debt is completely invisible to their eyes. In fact, having a loan looks like maturity. It looks like having a long-term plan. But look at the reality though. Person A is free. He can take career risks, start a business, or retire early. Person B is not really a homeowner. It's an illusion of owning. Reality is, he is a tenant of a bank with a very high rent. He is forced to work a job until the age of 55 just to keep that illusion alive. If he loses his job, the illusion of this ownership vanishes in 3 months, just 3 months. And he knows it. Even if he loved his job in the beginning, the suffocating obligation of the loan makes it very stressful. In psychology, this is called over-justification effect. When you take a job you genuinely enjoy and link it to a massive external pressure, like paying a lifelong EMI, the internal joy of the work completely dies out. Your career stops being a passion to you and simply becomes a survival mechanism, and you will start hating it at some point. This is very clear, and yet as a society, we collectively keep each other's eyes closed and ignore the financial prison that we keep building ourselves around us. We don't care about freedom. The whole point of money, wealth, is freedom. We are measuring success with wrong attributes like social status, making other people feel jealous, showing aukat to someone, and the effect of these things on you is stress. Early death. We've seen this already so many times in so many cases. This blind spot explains why most people stay broke and financial freedom always stays a pipe dream to them. If you have this mindset and if you don't change this mindset, everything I will talk in the second part of the video will have no effect in your life. That's why it's very important to address this mindset first. We're going to talk about health insurance, term insurance, emergency fund, how to clear debt, how to invest, all of this in the second part of the video. But this information is not rare or hidden. It's all openly available freely, and yet majority of the people don't apply it because their mindset is holding them back. Again, think of two people, person X and Y, same age, same income. Person X buys a house with a loan. Person Y is, instead of buying, rents a house in the same apartment complex and then starts investing with SIP with a difference amount. Think about what happens when person X buys a house with 20 to 30 years loan. First of all, his parents are proud and they spread the word among the relatives, and relatives congratulate him. His photo goes up in the family WhatsApp group. If he is unmarried, his stock value in the marriage market goes up. This is how we react as a society. On the other hand, Think what happens when person X decides to rent a house instead of buying, saves aggressively, and invests a different amount every month. Nothing happens. His parents are not proud. No congratulations. Instead, he gets concerned questions. Beta kab tak rent pe rahoge? They show a concern. They are genuinely worried that he lost it. Person X and Y have the same income, but opposite financial outcomes and opposite social rewards. This illogical social reward system is what creates the trap for younger generation. We don't reward the planned decisions. We reward the appearance of the decision. But it's not really a decision. It's a society's standard script that has been in the play for a long time. Get some degree, get a job, buy a house, get married, make kids, and get some lifestyle disease and finally die. This is the society's script. The appearance of success in India is a house. Regardless of how much the stress that it produces, regardless of whether it even makes sense for someone or not, regardless of even someone wants it or not. This is why Apna Ghar hona chahiye gets repeated by everyone, but nobody can justify it. Apna Ghar hona chahiye is not an argument. It's an inherited value system from previous generations. Nobody is checking the cost of it, the cost of freedom, cost of life itself. Sure, it made sense few decades ago, but the time has changed. And we need to adapt to this change and make decisions that are relevant now. If we can really understand this trap and come out of this social conditioning, you will be able to look at your values and decide for yourself, truly for yourself, and not make society's values into your own. Before we talk about this, I will just give you my background. I'm Tejas, I'm 33 years old. I have quit a high-paying full-time job a few months ago. I now have enough savings and investments to last more than a decade. This allows me the freedom to do what I love the most, that is building freedom with truth, community, and helping people. More details are in the description if you're interested. I've had several jobs so far. In my fourth or fifth job, this was 8-9 years ago, during a candid conversation with my then boss, he asked, "Where do you see yourself when you are 35 years old?" I told him that I wanted to be retired before 35. He was surprised and happy. And the reason I could say it out loud comes down to a few things I was doing when I started earning and knew what not to do. That's it. There is no leverage play, no crypto call, no side hustles, a very few boring things rather, done roughly in the order that I will share, but most importantly, starting early. This is how I would do them if I were to start again. I will walk you through them. And also make sure to watch till the end, because at the end I will be sharing an insight that completely changed how I think about freedom in life when you have a lot of responsibilities. So make sure you don't miss it. Number 1. Health insurance. First thing you should do as soon as you start earning money, buy a health insurance for yourself and whoever depends on you. If you cannot buy for others yet, buy for yourself at the minimum. The company that you work for might be offering an insurance for you, but that's not enough. You must buy one yourself independently. And remember, this is pure insurance, nothing bundled as investment, actual insurance, and that's it. And the sooner you buy it, the better. The premiums are generally cheaper when you buy it soon. Okay, why does this come first? Because you care about yourself and your savings. There is a famous saying that goes around in India that's very relevant here. You are one hospital bill away from becoming bankrupt and losing all your wealth. This is true. You can do everything else correctly, but if you miss this one, you will lose all of it in a week. There are so many such examples. It has happened to many people. You should not become another example. Use an aggregator like Policy Bazaar to compare policies if you want. Mainly understand that you're buying protection, insurance, not any investment with some returns. Pure insurance. This is absolutely important. Buy a base cover of 5 to 10 lakhs and a super top up to 45 lakhs. It's up to you. This should cover you very well. Remember, it's not top up, it's super top up. They are different. Both of them exist and they are different. If you want to know how to choose an insurance, what are all the things that you need to look in an insurance, I will add resource in the description for you. Number 2, term insurance. Health insurance protects your health, but for whatever reason something happens to you suddenly and you die, the people that depend on you need support. That support is provided by term insurance. Again, remember, pure term insurance, not an endowment plan, not a ULIP, pure term insurance. Remember this. I'm repeating this because the brokers will try to sell you mixed plans because they get good commission selling them. Most of the time, these brokers themselves don't know that the policies are not good for you. They are not bad people, they just don't know. That's why they sell you these things. You should completely avoid mixed policies and buy only pure insurance policy. Okay, now moving on to the third one. Number 3, emergency fund. There is no fixed amount for emergency fund. Let me explain how to calculate it for yourself. First step is make a list of all your expenses in a month. Literally everything. Rent or EMI, Wi-Fi, phone recharge, snacks, insurance, Netflix subscription, everything. Now categorize them into 2 groups. First one is essential expenses and second one is non-essential expenses. Now add all the essential expenses only and multiply that by 6. Whatever that number is that you get, this number is your essential expenses for 6 months and this is your emergency fund. If for whatever reason your income stops, you lose your job or something like that, you cut off everything from the non-essential expenses list. An emergency fund will cover all your essential expenses for the next 6 months. Until you find a new job or find some way to manage the finance, this emergency fund will cover you. If you don't have this emergency fund and you suddenly lose your income, you are immediately thrown into this pressure zone of finding money. That's not where you want to be. So if you have this emergency fund, it gives you some time to breathe and sort things out in 6 months' time. And ideally, put this money in fixed deposit, FD, separate from your regular bank account so that it's not so easy to access. Remember, this is not an investment. Don't worry so much about returns on this fund. Do not invest this money in mutual fund or IPOs. This fund should be fairly liquid, just FD is fine. Your discipline is important here. This is an emergency fund and this is not meant to buy a new phone or vacation and all that. If you want to save money for those things, that has to be a different fund but very low on priority compared to this one. Number 4, clearing debt. If you have debt, take this part very seriously. If you don't have debt, congratulate yourself and never take debt unless it's for business. If you have debt, listen carefully. Once all of the above are done, your health insurance, term insurance, and you have created an emergency fund, now your focus should completely be on clearing your debt. Even if it's long-term debt, clear it. Do not start investing without clearing debt. If you do that, the majority of the returns that you get on your investment will be eaten up by the debt itself, by the debt interest. If you invest before clearing the debt, what it means is you are accepting the risk of investment, but you aren't even getting the reward for that risk. So it's just a waste of time, really. Okay, so how to clear debt? List out all your debt amounts along with their interest rates. Now you can clear debt in 2 ways. Mathematically correct way is to clear highest interest rate loans first and then the lower ones. Another way to do it is clear out the smallest amounts of loan that you have, irrespective of the interest rate on those loans. Once you pay one of the lowest amount and you are free from that debt, it feels good to see that your debts are going away, and this gives you the motivation to clear more debts. This is a bit of a human-centric method to do it. It keeps you motivated. One tactic worth using if your situation allows it, if you have high interest rate debt such as credit card debt, they go up to 20%, 40% interest. You may take a personal loan from the bank at a lower interest rates, usually at 10% or 11%, and pay off the credit loan debt which are at a higher interest rates. Then immediately stop using credit card, because your habit might be moving in the wrong direction with respect to using credit card, and you should stop this habit from going out of control than it already has. So disable all your credit cards and just throw them away for some time. For long-term loans like home loan or car loan, you need to take an approach where your total tenure reduces. The more you reduce it, the better. Two things to follow here. Pay one extra EMI every year. Instead of 12 EMIs, pay 13. Second thing you must do, as your income grows every year, put all that increment into the loan EMI by increasing the EMI amount that you pay. Or at the bare minimum, increase your EMI by 10% every year. When you prepay the EMI, the extra EMI, the bank will ask whether you want to reduce EMI or tenure. Always reduce tenure, not EMI. You can see this example on the screen to understand how it works. Now, number 5, investment. This is a flashy topic, but let's keep it very simple. Now that your debt is completely gone, or whatever that you have is below 5% interest rate, you are ready to invest now. I recommend sticking to index funds, mainly Nifty and Flexi Caps. If you are below 35 years of age, you can have some portion in small cap index as well. That's it. No intraday, no swing trading, none of that. You can do all of that if you really have the time and interest. If you are anything like me, you just want to focus on your work, family, your hobbies. Spending active time on investment is not worth it. Make sure to know why you're investing. Maybe you want to retire early like me or do something else, but whatever is the reason, have a predefined amount in your mind. What amount do you want to reach? This has to be very clear to you. Now let me add a few things that you should not do. Never ever invest because someone gave you a tip to invest in IPO or company stock because it's about to go up. Never do this. Never put money in future and options. A SEBI study found 93% of the individual future and options traders lost money between 2022 and 24. 93%. That's almost everybody. So if you think you are between the 7%, you have to be doing it full time. So no need for you to become statistics. Stay away from them. Do the simple things. Finally, number 6. You need to share these details with people that are close to you. Every account you have, every policy you bought, every loan you are clearing and cleared, every investment you have made, you need to write all of this down in a single file or multiple files, zip them and store them in Google Drive and share it with relevant people. Or you can write these details in physical paper and put it in envelope and share it with appropriate people. Health insurance should be shared with your spouse and other close family members, maybe even your close friends. Term insurance details should be with your spouse and other close family members. People should know. Don't keep these things a secret. Details about investments. This is up to you, but make sure to share with some people at the very least. Okay, now at the very end, I promised you an insight about independence, and it's this. Always remember that you are not independent until your dependents are independent. What this means is to help those who are dependent on you and make them independent, and you will find your freedom in that. The more people that are independent around you, you get more freedom to live your life as you like. You won't be bound by those dependent people. Sometimes it's unavoidable, you deal with that, but this is kind of a principle that you can keep in mind and help people around you to become independent. Now at the last, I will leave you with this. The difference between you and someone else in your age group is not this information. They will find this information too. It comes down to whether you actually implement this or not. Because knowledge is not power, implementation is. If any of you need help to your specific situation, feel free to comment or send us an email. You should be able to find email ID in our website. Link is in the description.